Hi, I'm Ginger, and I wanted to share today on marriage. But first, I'll take one moment to tell you how to be born again in case you've never been born again. It says in Ephesians 2:8 and 9, "For by grace are you saved through faith. It is not of yourself. It is the gift of God, lest any man should boast." So put your genuine, true faith in Christ, in his blood, and in him to save you. It is no license to sin. It says in Romans 6:1, "Should I continue in sin that grace may abound? God forbid." So let's get going with this. First, I want to tell you that I might be ridiculed because I've been divorced 4 times. I've been married 4 times and divorced 4 times. I know it was sin to do all those remarriages. I know it was sin about all the divorces. I have divorced the fourth one because I know that it is not okay to remarry if your first spouse is alive. So in September 11th, 2020, I divorced the fourth one because I found out that it is not okay to remarry if spouse one, that hair's bothering me, if spouse one is alive. So let's get going with this verse in Mark 10:11-12. "And my first spouse is alive. So I had to divorce this one I was in remarriage adultery with. So I left that fourth one because of this verse." Mark 10:11-12. "And he saith unto them, Whosoever shall put away his wife and marry another committeth adultery against her. And if a woman shall put away her husband and be married to another, she committeth adultery." So we cannot go get a new spouse if we have a first spouse alive. And if you are in remarriage adultery, you need to divorce that one. Stop the sex immediately if you are in remarriage adultery. So let's get going with this that I wanted to share. We're going to start with 1 Corinthians 7:10-11. "And unto the married I command, yet not I, but the Lord, let not the wife depart from her husband. But and if she depart, let her remain unmarried or be reconciled to her husband, and let not the husband put away his wife." So if someone is divorced, they only have 2 options. They must either reconcile with their first spouse or stay unmarried. The next verse I want to share is 1 Corinthians 7:14-15. "For the unbelieving husband is sanctified by the wife, and the unbelieving wife is sanctified by the husband. Else were your children unclean, but now they are holy. But if the unbelieving depart, let him depart." A brother or a sister is not under bondage in such cases, but God hath called us to peace. That's what I wanted to share today. It is good to stay married if you are with your first spouse and it was your spouse's first spouse. But if the unbeliever wants to depart, it tells us here in 1 Corinthians 7:15 to let that unbeliever depart. "But if the unbelieving depart, let him depart." A brother or a sister is not under bondage in such cases, but God hath called us to peace. So do stay married if you're in a covenant marriage, if it's your first spouse and your spouse's first spouse. But if the unbeliever wants to depart, let that unbeliever depart. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.